Igbos also tried to leave Nigeria, but Nigerians said no, they want Igbos to be with them. So you should not be angry when you see them in your space. And remember, after the war, after suffering that, you don't expect them to stay in their space where everything is destroyed. They have to go out and seek for survival. And Yoruba people accepted them. Northerners accepted them. Everybody did. Okay, as one Nigeria, they've claimed they fought for. Yeah, they want everybody to be together. So what is the gaslighting for? You welcome them, like talking like this is like sounding like you did a favor to Igbos. If you wanted to do a favor to them, you should have, I mean, if our forefathers, people who were dead, who claimed to fight this war for unity, wanted to help the Igbos, they should have stood for letting the Igbos have their own space. And if you see them in your space, then you can now say, yeah, what they are nuisance.
When you say things like, you are doing as if you did them a favor, of course it did you a favor. What are you talking about? The war was lost, but they kept saying, oh, you know, no victor, no vanquish. That was a huge favor. What we're supposed to get from that is, listen, we are brothers. Listen, we fought. We did it amongst ourselves as Yoruba people, so it's not even a big deal. Everybody moves around, come back like we are friends, we're family. It's just that thing. Until you begin to act anyhow in my house and say, are you not the one that told me to come? And so what? If I told you to come, did I say you should come and destroy my space? Did I say you should come and tell my children that you are going to be the one entitled to my property in my will? By the way, what you don't understand is exactly what happened last week or 2 weeks ago with this gentleman, Obi Kubana, when the adopted son went online and said he's the next of kin, and the man had his young son beside him online and wrote there that that's the next of kin. That's what we're doing here. You are adopted. This is not your space. You come here and tell everybody I am the next of kin. In other words, you have become a threat to my children. Therefore, I'm going to have to tell my children and tell the world that, listen, no, this is my next of kin, no, that one, no be me get them. And that's something that you will not even say until the person goes beyond it. And by the way, if Obi Kubana could do it, do you not think that it's even more important for an ethnic group to do it? You can't keep moving around and say, we had a war, I said I was leaving, you forced me back, therefore I can do whatever I like in your space. No. Therefore you can thrive in my place. I want you to succeed. I want you to live well. I want you to make progress. I wish you all the best, right? If there's opportunities for you, take it. But you cannot move mad. You can't move mad. Southeasterners did not leave the Southeast because of the war. Again, history is very important here. The Southeast began to move out en masse in the 20th century, early 20th century. Majority of the leaders of the Southeast were not born in the Southeast. I'm talking about the leaders in the First Republic or at independence. Majority of them were born outside the Southeast. So for instance, I've mentioned this before, people like Ojukwu was born in Zungeru, Azikiwe was born in Zungeru, and that was in 1904. A lot of the migration that you had nothing to do with the war. Let me read this. During the early 20th century, particularly after the founding of Port Harcourt in 1912, many Igbos migrated from neighboring southeastern states like Anambra, Imo, Abia, and Enugu into the city. For what? For work opportunities created by British colonial development, especially in railway construction, seaport work, and later in the oil industry. Over the decades, the Igbo population in Port Harcourt grew substantially and they became prominent in commerce, civil service, and so on. What happened really was that people moved out because of opportunities. In 1912, a lot of Igbos actually moved into Port Harcourt, just like they moved into the north. You know, at the time, there was a time when Zungeru was the capital. So the British, Zungeru of course is in present-day Niger State, so it's a central place. A lot of people actually took advantage of the fact that the British were there. They went there to get jobs, but they did not start moving out because of the war. If you read, and I quote this a lot, the Willings Commission report, you see how by 57, a lot of people in the Calabar, Ogoja province, Rivers province, they already had a lot of people who moved, of Igbos who moved into their space. And again, I mean, they could move because you have freedom of movement. But then the point is saying that it was because of the war. No, they moved before the war. When the pogroms happened in the north, a lot of them returned to the east. From the word go, there have never been many opportunities at home. And again, it is not, listen, see, these things, in reality, it's not a jab. It's just history. It becomes a problem when you start to twist things and say, oh, we were on our own. You were the one that said we should come. We didn't say you should come. We said you should come back because we're trying to welcome brothers. So the point is that people started moving out because opportunities were outside the space. Even in Port Harcourt. Port Harcourt is not an Igbo town. They moved into those spaces after the British built it, and they went to take advantage of British colonial government job opportunity. The same thing in the north. First with Zungeru and then into other parts until they got to Kaduna, because of course that became the capital of northern region. And then in Lagos, they moved to Lagos late 20s, early 30s because of British colonial government. It was not because of altruism or you just want to come and help us. You want to come and develop your space. That's not why. And it's not bad because everybody moves to where opportunities are. So it's natural. The only problem is that you said, no, there are no opportunities. I just came to give you opportunities. The one way you don't get for a house. I believe this history, but what's the point? As how does it move us forward? It moves us forward, for instance, by saying that when you move into spaces, you conduct yourself appropriately. Why? Because if this history is not told, somebody literally wrote something and said, Igbo's own Oyinbo in Lagos. You cannot say, oh, so what does it really mean? It means that you're literally rewriting people's history and claiming their lands. In the 21st century, when you have no capacity to conquer them. By the way, to claim people's land, you have to conquer them. If you didn't conquer them, as a matter of fact, it's not like you didn't, you couldn't conquer them. Even if you tried, you wouldn't be able to. Then you can't then turn around and say, oh, I own the space. You're literally going beyond your bounds and say, oh, the reason I can say it is because you told me to come back to Nigeria. I didn't tell you to come and take my space. I told you to come and eat at the table. I said, I have a table, come and eat. I didn't say you should come and carry my table and say it's yours. And this is just common courtesy. Like, if you don't understand these basic things, it's on you.